Hello everyone. I hope so you will be fine. So today we are going to discuss about money market hedge. Okay, and we are going to learn how to set up a money market hedge, especially for foreign currency receipts. In last video we have discussed about how to set up a money market hedge for foreign currency payments. So today we are going to discuss about foreign currency receipts. So here we go. Let's start with the help of example. For example, I'm just giving example. Let's assume we are living in India. Let's assume our local currency is Indian rupees. Okay. And we have some receipts in foreign currency, which is dollar, I'm assuming. And we have a receipt. So for example, $1,000. Okay. Maybe let's assume in 3 months time. Okay, now guys, I'm assuming here we have a spot means it today exchange rate. So today exchange rate, let's assume it is $1 equals 60 Indian rupees. But we have a risk that by the time, okay, in 3 months in my example, so by the time of 3 months, maybe the rate could be $1, could be 50 Indian rupees. Now if you will simply convert this $1,000 as per the spot rate, so 1,000 times 60, so this $1,000 equals 60,000 Indian rupees. But if you will use this rate, which we are expecting in 3 months' time, and if you will convert the $1,000 at 50, so our receipts would be 50,000 Indian rupees. Actually, this is what we are expecting, that this could be the rate in 3 months' time. So now, as a hedger, so I feel that this spot rate is better for me. Okay, because in 3 months' time, the rate may move to 50 Indian rupees per dollar. Okay, so now I want to avail this rate because I feel this rate is better now. But I should have today, I need to have $1,000 today, right? To convert this $1,000 into Indian rupees at 60. So, but let's assume if I don't have this $1,000 because practically I will receive this $1,000 in 3 months' time. So, what I can do, how I can use money market hedge now because I don't have $1,000 today because I'll receive $1,000 in 3 months' time. So, but I want to convert $1,000 into Indian rupees today. So, what I can do now? So, step number one is I can borrow an appropriate amount in the foreign currency. So which is, in my example, it is dollar. Okay. So this is what I can borrow today, the appropriate amount, okay, of foreign currency that I can borrow today. So this is the first step because I'll receive actually from the customer in 3 months time. So I want to convert it today. So I don't have a money. So I can borrow the dollar today. So then step number two, what? I can convert these dollar, which is my foreign currency. I can convert it immediately to the home currency. And I'm assuming my home currency is what? Indian rupees. And obviously, these dollar which I will borrow today, so these dollar I will convert into Indian rupees at which rate? At spot rate. Okay. So then please remember here, third step. Now, if you will look at here, I have here loan in foreign currency. And this loan amount I have converted into local currency at which rate? At spot rate. And now this local currency, what I will do, I will deposit into bank account. Now if you will just look at this scenario, on this loan which I have taken in the foreign currency, I will pay interest, definitely, right? And the amount which I have deposited into local currency account, here I will earn interest. So this is what is step number three. So step number three is what? Place it on deposit in the home currency. As I told you, we have taken the loan in foreign currency that we will convert into local currency at spot rate. And then this local currency we will deposit in the home currency. And home currency in my example is Indian rupees. Then what? When the debtor's cash is received, obviously in 3 months time, once actually you will get the receipts from the customer. So what I will do without any conversion, because I'll receive dollar, right, in 3 months time from the customer. Without any conversion, I will repay the foreign currency loan without any conversion. So it means I can save myself from the future conversion. Then what? This loan will be settled because as I will receive money from the customer, I will pay the loan, right? And then what? On the other hand, I have a deposit now in local currency. So what I will do, I can take the cash from the home currency deposit account, which is in my example, Indian rupees. So this is how money market hedge will work. Now we are going to go through the example, okay, and we will perform all these calculations. Okay, so here we go. So generally these are the steps, guys. First, I'm just trying to explain steps theoretically what you will do, because how would you define step number one is what? We have to determine how much foreign currency we need to borrow today. Okay, how much foreign currency we will borrow today. So please remember, for example, as I told you, if I have a receipts of $1,000 in 3 months time, and I'm assuming dollar is my foreign currency. So now the question is how much foreign currency I will borrow today. So it must be equal to the present value of this $1,000. It must be the present value. So what, how I will calculate the present value? So this is how you will calculate the present value. Okay, why actually I'm calculating present value? Because uh, if I'll borrow this present value, okay, of $1,000, so then obviously I will add interest because I have to pay interest on that. So if I'll take present value plus interest, it should be equal to the foreign currency receipts of $1,000 which I will actually receive in 3 months time. So that is why I'm just calculating present value. So how would you calculate present value? So you will take here debtors in the foreign currency, which is in my example, for example, $1,000. So then we will divide here one plus interest rate on borrowing in foreign currency. So please remember, dollar is my foreign currency, right? So I have to take borrowing rate, okay, of dollar. So please remember here, sometime examiner can play with you. Interest rates are quoted annually. For example, if interest rate, borrowing, okay, if it is 6% per annum, if I want this interest rate only for 3 months, what I will do, I can take 6% multiply by 3 by 12. So I have to adjust this annual interest rate for 3 months. So this is what I'll use it here, okay? 1 plus interest rate on borrowing in foreign currency, but this interest rate should be adjusted as per your requirement. Then guys, if you will solve this formula, so this will give you amount to be borrowed in foreign currency. Simply, it will give you present value, okay? Then what? Step number two. Step number two, what? So now we have to determine how much local currency needs to deposit today, because this, as I told you, first we will borrow in foreign currency, and this should be the present value of foreign currency receipt, right? This is how you will work. Step number two, what? So this present value, you will simply convert into your local currency, right? At spot rate. Okay, so this is what you are going to do now. Step number two. Step number two, determine how much local currency needs to be deposited today. So simply this present value we will convert into local currency. And this is how you will convert. And I'm assuming here. So the quote is like dollar to Indian rupees, for example. Dollar to Indian rupees. Okay, this is how rates are quoted. So obviously I'm dealing with the first currency, so division will be applied. So here, what I will do, step number two, again I'm going to go through, determine how much local currency needs to deposit today. So simply how much, the answer is simply convert this present value okay, which we have already calculated in step number one. We will convert into local currency at spot rate. Which rate? Bank buying rate. And exchange rate I have already explained. Okay. So what you will do here, so you will take here now amounts to be borrowed in foreign currency, which was the answer of step number one. This answer divided by bank spot buying rate. We need spot rate, but bank buying rate. Okay. We will divide because I'm assuming code is like this. So then it will give you deposit in the local currency. So this is what the step number two you got. Okay. So it means we have answered these two things now. How much foreign currency we need to borrow today, then we will immediately convert into local currency, and then this local currency we will deposit. Now all these things I'm going to go through step 3 and 4. So here we go. Step 3, which will combine all the calculations. Now combine calculations. Now you will create here two legs. One leg is for foreign currency account. Don't forget we have here now loan in foreign currency, right? So what we will do, we will write it here borrowing, which was the step number one. Then we will multiply with the percentage of interest. Simply we have to take it here borrowing rate. Okay. Borrowing rate of foreign currency. Okay. So if I will multiply the borrowing with the interest percentage, so this will give you interest amount. And if I take borrowing plus interest, it will give you total liability. Okay. Or you can do it's math. You can do this way also. Simply if you will take a borrowing, this borrowing, if you will multiply with 1 plus interest rate, which rate? Borrowing rate of foreign currency. If I'll just multiply this borrowing step 1 times 1 plus interest rate, borrowing rate of foreign currency, so this will give you directly total liability in 3 months time. Then guys, we know this borrowing which you have already borrowed in the foreign currency, you have already converted into local currency at spot rate, right? So this amount you will deposit, right? Because this borrowing you have converted into local currency in step number two. So this is what is your deposit now in the local currency. This is local currency. And don't forget in local currency, we have a deposit under receipt cases. So now this deposit I will multiply with what? I will multiply with 1 plus interest rate. Which rate? Deposit rate. Okay, of which currency? Of local currency. If I'll just multiply a deposited value with this formula, so this will give you actually total assets, and these assets include principal plus interest and okay. So this is how money market hedge will work. Now I'm going to go through with the help of examples. Here we go. Because we'll just repeat those steps what we have learned here. So here we go. So we got a talker company, for example. Thacker company is now expecting a receipt of US dollar 1.2 million in 6 months time. So you got a receipts. So I'm just writing here. We got a receipts of 1.2 million dollar in 6 months time. Okay, this is receipts. Then guys, and must make a payment of $300,000 in 6 month time. Okay, so we got here $300,000. We have to make payment in also 6 months time. So this is payment. So if you will look at here, so we got a receipts of 1.2 million means say this value. Okay, if I'll remove the zeros, if I'll remove the million sign, sorry. So it means this much receipts I have in dollar and this much payment I have in dollar. Okay. And the duration is the same. So whenever duration is the same, so first you should do the netting. So netting what? Receipt is 1.2 million and payment is 300,000. If you will take your, what is your net result? Net result is your net receipt. Net receipt is how much? $900,000, right? Now, guys, being a good finance person, so you have a receipts of 1.2 million, you have a payment. So you should not set up the money market hedge for receipts separately and money market hedge for payment separately. No, so you should first net of the figures, because if the duration is the same and currency is the same, okay? And then get the net result. So you got here net receipt, okay, 900,000. So you may get here net payment also. But if you got a net receipt, because receipt figure is bigger than payment, right? So if you got a net receipt, then you will set up now money market hedge for foreign currency receipt. Okay, that you have to follow now. But if you got here net payment here as a result net payment, then you have to set money market hedge for foreign currency payment, which we have discussed in the last week. So here we got now foreign currency receipt we got actually, okay, net receipt. So it means I will use now money market hedge to avoid the risk of adverse movement of exchange rate for this $900,000. So here we go. So then this is what we got a net receipt, okay, of $900,000. So now the company treasurer has determined the following. So what we got here? So we got a spot rate, which is the rate for which is current rate like today's price. So it is dollar 1.7000 to 1.7040 per pound. Okay, then we got 3 months forward rate and we got 6 month forward rate. Please remember 3 month forward rate is not relevant because we are dealing with the 6 month. So if I will compare the money market hedge with the forward contract, so in money market hedge, obviously we will use spot rate. And if I want to set up a forward contract, so then I'll use this 6 month rate. Okay, so here we go. So first I'm going to deal with the money market hedge, and we know in under the money market hedge only spot rate is relevant. Okay, so how would you work now? So we got here some other information along with this question. The information is we got here money market rates. This column is for borrowing rate. This column is for deposit rate. And here we got borrowing rate for US dollar, which is our foreign currency. And I'm assuming dollar is my foreign currency, okay? And pound is my local currency in this example. And here we got a deposit rate for dollar. Here we got sterling borrowing rate. Here we got sterling deposit rate, okay? Now, decide, the requirement is we need to decide whether a forward contract hedge or a money market hedge should be undertaken. So first I'm going to perform the calculation as per money market hedge for foreign currency receipt. So here we go, guys. Step number one, we know we have a net receipts of dollar 900,000. So this for this $900,000, I need to set up a money market hedge, and this is how it will work now. So first of all, step number one, as I have already explained, we have to decide how much foreign currency, which is dollar, we need to borrow today. And I told you answer is what? It should be the present value of receipts. Receipts are what? Receipts are 900,000. So it must be a present value of 900,000. So how you will do it now? So simply, I'll take debtors in the foreign currency. My net receipt is $900,000 and I'll divide with 1 plus interest rate on borrowing in foreign currency. So I'll go to the question. You know my foreign currency is dollar, right? I'll go back to the question. I'll go to the dollar. I have to pick borrowing rate, this rate. And by the way, this 6.5% rate is per annum, but I want only for 6 months. So I'll divide with the 6 by 12. So it will give you 3.25%. So this rate, I'll use it here. So 1 plus 3.25. So because I have to remove the percentage sign also. So 3.25% divided by 100. So it will be equal to 0.0325. Okay. If I'm not wrong, right? Okay. Now guys, now I'll just solve it. So if I will add this thing, like it will be equal to 1.0325. So simply now $900,000 divided by this. So I'll get amount which we need to borrow, which is present value. If I'll divide 900,000 divided by this, so it will be equal to dollar 871671. You can just cross check, okay? It means this much dollar I need to borrow today. Now what? Now guys, step number two is now we need to determine how much local currency we need to deposit today. So simply this present value, we will convert to the local currency, and local currency is pound now. At which rate? At spot rate. And I told you which rate we will use. We will use spot rate, but it should be a bank buying rate. Okay? Bank buying rate. And do you remember, guys? Because this quote is like that, dollar per pound. If you will just go to the question, you can see here. It's dollar per pound. Okay, so quote is like that, dollar per pound. And you are dealing with the first currency. And I told you already when we explained the exchange rate, when you are dealing with the first currency, so you should divide. The rule is to divide the exchange rate. That's why you can see here amounts to be borrowed, which we have to borrow. How much amount you have to borrow? 87,000. No, 871,671. This is what amount to be borrowed. And now we need to divide the exchange rate. And whenever division is applied, I told you bank always sell at low and buy at high, because division is applying. Buy at high, sorry. Okay. High. This is high. Now, here we have to take bank buying rate. Okay. Bank buying rate. Now you have to check the question. Go back to the question here. So if you look at here, this is the spot rate. This is the actually this is low rate. This is high rate. So bank because if you will just follow this rule, because bank buys at high and sell at low, right? This is what I told you. What I told you, bank sell at low, yes, and buy at high. Because this dollar, I have dollar, okay, in my hands now, and I want to sell the dollar. Obviously, bank will buy at high. Okay, so high rate is which one from here? If you check from the spot, this is the high rate, not this one, this one. So this rate I'll divide 1.7040. So divided by dollar 1.7040. If I'll divide, so I'll get deposit in the local currency, and this deposit is going to be pounds 511544. Okay, so this is what is step number two. We got deposit in the local currency. Okay, now what? Now two legs we will create. Step three we are doing now. Step three. So two legs we will create. Number one, we got a foreign currency account in which we have a loan today, and we have taken this loan, right? It was step number one. Now this loan we will multiply with what? We will multiply with 1 plus interest rate. Which interest rate? Because it's a loan in foreign currency, right? We'll take borrowing rate of foreign currency. Borrowing rate. And we have already calculated borrowing rate, right? Because it was 6.5%. And we need for 6 months, 6 divided by 1 divided by 12. So it will be equal to 3.25. So 3.25%. So if I'll remove the percentage sign, it will become 0.0325. So this is what we have today. So 1 plus 0.0325. If I'll add this, it will be equal to 1.0325. And if I will multiply this, the loan amount with the 1 plus interest, so this will give you total liability. And see, it is equal to the foreign currency receipts, right? And because in future, in 6 months, as you will get 900,000 from the customer, so you will settle this liability without any conversion. So this is one side, okay? Then you got here local currency account in which we have a deposit. Instead deposit means step number two answer. So step number two answer was this one, right? This is what we have deposited. So 511 544 pounds. And now because we have deposit in the pound, so I'll multiply this deposit with 1 plus deposit rate I have to take of pound. Okay, 1 plus deposit rate of pound. So go back to the question. See the deposit rate of the pound. This is sterling pounds. This is deposit rates. It's 6% per annum. But I want this rate for 6 months only. So I'll take 6 by 12. Okay. So it's equal to 3%. So if I'll remove the percentage sign by dividing by 100, it will be equal to 0.03. Okay. So this is what we have to do now here. So 1 plus 1 1 plus 0.03. So if I'll add these two, so it will be equal to 1.03. So just now take deposit times this. So this will give you total asset, and this amount you will withdraw after 6 months and you can use it. Okay, guys. So this is what is your total money market hedge, and you will always look in your local currency what happened in the local currency. In local currency, this is what is your final value because your local currency is pound. So if you will use money market hedge, so in 6 months time you will get 526,890 pounds. You will get, you will always check in your local currency. Okay, now this is what is money market hedge is over. So this is what, by using money market hedge, this the foreign currency receipt hedging would result in 526,890 pounds. Now if you want to compare with FRA means a forward rate agreement, sorry, forward rate contracts or agreement. So there you have to check here, guys, because you have a net receipts 900,000 in 6 months time, right? So this is now 6 month forward rate. If you will use forward contracts, we know we will lock this rate, and this $900,000 we will sell in 6 months time to the bank, because again dollar division will apply because dollar is the first currency in this quote. Division will apply, and I want to sell dollar, bank will buy dollar. Whenever division is applied, bank buys at high rate, and this is the high rate. So this rate you will use for FRA, $1.6809 per pound. So this is what, if you are using FRA, so you will take foreign currency receipt, net receipt, which is 900,000 divided by 1.6809. So this will give you this much pound. And again, if you want to compare FRA or money market hedge, which is better? So this is the result of FRA in local currency. This is the result of money market hedge. So now you will tell me which is better for you. Do you want to get 526,890 pound by selling $900,000, or you want to get 535,427? Obviously you will choose this, right? Because you want to get more pounds by selling $900,000. It means forward hedge is recommended hedging strategy as per this data, right? I hope so it is clear, guys. If you have any question, you can ask me.